Sometimes we want to know the distance of something, and that's all. Just the distance. For example, let's say that Cynthia loves blueberries. Cynthia might be 5 meters to the left of the blueberries, or she could be 5 meters to the right of the blueberries, or she could be 5 meters above the blueberries, or 5 meters below. But does Cynthia really care whether the blueberries are to her right, to her left, above her, below her, ahead of her, behind her? No. Look, she loves blueberries. All she wants to know is how far away they are. So instead of worrying about the blueberries being to her right, to her left, above her, below her, ahead of her, or behind her, instead, she just wants to know that the blueberries are 5 meters away. All right, so now in math, let's learn about absolute value, and let's start with the words absolute and value. In math and science, the word value means a definite amount. For example, you could take any circle, and you could measure its circumference, and you could also measure the circle's diameter. And for any perfect circle, no matter how big or small it is, if you take the circumference and divide it by the diameter, you'll always get the same value, which is approximately 3.14. Scientists have also measured an exact value for the speed of light, about 186,000 miles per second. Okay, what about the word absolute? In this case, the word absolute is used to mean that you're considering something as itself without depending on or being compared with other things. For example, this is Jeff. Jeff weighs 100 pounds. However, we would not call Jeff's weight of 100 pounds an absolute measurement. You see, if Jeff goes to the moon, he'll now weigh only about 16.5 pounds. Look, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that Jeff went on a strict diet while vacationing on the moon. But no, he didn't go on a diet. The lower weight occurs because the moon has a lower gravitational pull on Jeff's body, and so Jeff's body doesn't push down as hard on the scale. So Jeff's weight is not an absolute measurement because the weight depends on other things. It depends on gravitational pull, which can vary. However, we could say that Jeff has a mass of 45 kilograms. Mass is just how much matter there is. We can say that mass is an absolute measurement. Whether or not Jeff is on the Earth or on the moon, his mass is 45 kilograms. Jeff's mass does not depend on his location. Hey, even if Jeff was hanging out in deep outer space, he'd still have that same mass of 45 kilograms. As another example, this is Gloria, and Gloria is standing on a spot. Suppose Gloria does the following. She jumps straight up in the air 1.5 meters, then lands, then moves 8 meters to the left, then moves 4 meters backwards, then moves 11 meters to the right, then moves 6 meters forward, and finally moves 2 meters backwards. Now that was a lot of motion. But when Gloria finally settled down in one place, we could say that the absolute change of position from Gloria's starting point to her final point was a motion of 3 meters to the right. All right, now in math, we sometimes talk about absolute value. Here's a number line, and let's look at the number 4. We say that the absolute value of 4 is 4. That's because the number 4 is 4 units or steps away from the number 0. Now, let's look at the number -4. We also say that the absolute value of -4 is 4. That's because the number -4 is also 4 units or 4 steps away from the number 0. When we talk about absolute value, it's always a positive number. The absolute value of a number is simply how far away it is from 0. It doesn't depend on whether the number is negative or positive, whether we see the number to the left of 0 or to the right of 0 on the number line. We use 2 bars to show absolute value. For example, this is a way of writing that the absolute value of 4 is 4. And this is a way of writing that the absolute value of -4 is 4. As mentioned, the absolute value of a number is how far it is from 0, whether it's to the left of 0 on the number line or to the right of 0 on the number line. But sometimes, instead of 0, we can use the word absolute value to mean the distance from another number that we choose. For example, let's suppose that a metal part of an engine needs to be 65 millimeters long. And suppose a company has a machine that makes hundreds of these metal pieces per minute. And suppose not all the metal parts come out of the machine perfectly. Some might be a little bit shorter than 65 millimeters. Some might be a little longer than 65 millimeters. And the company's decided that it's okay if the metal piece is 1 millimeter too long, and it's okay if the metal piece is 1 millimeter too short. It's okay to be up to 1 millimeter too big or up to 1 millimeter too short, but not more than 1 millimeter too big and not more than 1 millimeter too short. So in this case, you could say that the absolute value of the error from the specification of 65 millimeters must be 1 or less. The absolute value of a number is how far it is from 0, whether it's to the left of 0 on the number line or to the right of it. Or you could say that the absolute value of a number is how far it is from some other chosen number, whether it's to the left of it on the number line or to the right of it. The absolute value of a number is always positive.